Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for joining our Platform Privacy and Security Academy session. I'm very happy to welcome you all to learn more about our today's the topic around ServiceNow Security Center, particularly how to improve your security posture with ServiceNow Security Center. My name is Furqas Salim. I'm a Outbound PM in Platform Security team. I am also joined by Stefano, who's our main PM and security admin, to give us a little bit more insights around today's topic. Before I hand it over to Stefano, I'd like to highlight one more important thing to let everyone in this call to be aware of, which is our safe harbor notice for a forward-looking statement. As always, we have to start by reminding you that we might talk about things that are on the product roadmap. And since we're a publicly traded company, there are rules about making forward-looking statements. So we just want to remind you to please make your purchasing decision based on the product as it exists today. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Stefano. The floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Furqas. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Stefano Pelletti. I'm a Senior Principal Product Manager here at ServiceNow. Worked in security for a number of years, and I'm leading the Security Center strategy and execution at ServiceNow. Today, we're going to introduce the ServiceNow Security Center, which is a brand new product that is launching tomorrow, actually. Let me start with a big picture. So, you know ServiceNow, and ServiceNow is the intelligent platform for end-to-end digital transformation. It will allow you to reduce costs and drive growth while managing risk. It is a single platform. It's very unique in its marketplace. It is fully integrated with external applications. It has a number of applications that resides on top of a core platform. You can extend and even create your application both with pro code or low code capabilities. It allows you to increase employee productivity. You can digitalize any process, improves your operational excellence, deliver customer growth, all from one single platform. ServiceNow also provides comprehensive security controls. Recently, we have launched a premium line of security products. It's called the ServiceNow Vault. There's 5 products in it and more to come. We've always had very comprehensive functionality across all the different security areas: authentication, identity, security monitoring, data privacy. We have the richest set of security controls in the platform of any cloud, anything from certificates and settings and login policies, access controls, auditing and system logs, antivirus. And we do conform with some of the most stringent regulatory compliance mandates in the world, including SOC 1 and SOC 2, Department of Defense IL4, FedRAMP, ISO 2701, and more. But with breadth of functionality and with breadth of platforms also comes a certain level of knowledge and understanding. For some customers, maintaining comprehensive security compliance can be hard. There are so many features, so many different settings, so many different capabilities to make sure that your environment has an extremely secure posture. The admins are asked to manage all aspects of the platform: the business logic, the growth of the applications, the development of the application, performance, and security and compliance. The admins are responsible for security configuration, but which of the many configurations do they need to pay attention to? Can they scan the environment and find misconfigurations? They're also responsible for monitoring for potential security attacks, but what to look for, and how can be alerted versus having to continuously monitor for events? And how can they analyze events that look suspicious? Admins are also expected to follow security best practices, but where do you find them, and how can they learn as they maintain this very large cloud platform? Well, the ServiceNow Security Center was built from the ground up to help the admins achieve those challenges or or improve on those challenges. It specifically enables admins to maintain the highest level of security configuration and security monitoring. It's a set of purpose-built and integrated tools in one consolidated app. The app will be available tomorrow, May 4th, in our store, store.servicenow.com. The current version will support the Utah family release. In the next family release, Vancouver, it will be installed and activated by default. You don't have to go to the store. But from now on, every quarter, we're planning to release functionality. So in between family releases, you're also going to be able to install a more updated release from the store, because we're going to continue to enhance and provide more tools and more functionality to this very important application. And Security Center is free and will, again, be available tomorrow. Security Center is an application built with 4 separate tools integrated into one single app: security hardening, security scanner, security metrics, and security learning. Security hardening is where we provide our recommendations on how to harden the environment. Security scanner will give you the ability to scan the environment against a set of checks or potential security configurations and behavior of interest. Security metrics are where we allow you to monitor for security events that can be indicative of a risk and be able to both be proactively alerted and also to analyze the data. And then finally, security learning is where we provide a comprehensive list of resources organized in a manner that allows you to learn over time. And I will demo all of this in a few minutes. But let me talk about these 4 different tools with the lenses of the challenges that we discussed earlier for the admin. Let's start with the security hardening tool. This was designed to answer the question of, how do I harden my instances? How do I know how to make it as secure as possible? Hardening is always the place where security starts. Whenever you get a new device, a new system, new environment, that's where you want to make sure that it is as robust from intrusions as possible. ServiceNow provides 175 recommended configurations. Now, I know it sounds like a lot. It's a big platform, but also most of these configurations are set to be compliant by design as you upgrade to any family release or as you start with ServiceNow. And I say most. We score this tool will scan your environment and then measure how the system properties and plugins that we have identified as highly important meet the recommendations. And then we'll provide a numeric score between 1 and 100%. The application default configuration, ServiceNow core platform configuration, will start at 86%. So there's another 14% of improvements that we look to the companies to make their own decision. These are certain settings that, depending on your own security policies, your own environment, the applications that you have, you need to make a decision on. A higher score, of course, it's a more secure posture. Within the hardening tool, not only we score and provide clear indications of how you comply with our recommendations, but also we allow you very easily to identify what are the potential gaps and then allow to change them very quickly if you so desire. We also allow you to, at any one point in time, see why the score might have changed and what settings might have changed in your environment so you can take action. The next tool, the security scanning tool, answers the question of, how do I scan my environment? How do I find misconfigurations? ServiceNow provides in this tool a suite of 65 recommended scan checks. So the checks, while the hardening score focuses on system properties and plugin, the scanner focuses on some of the more settings that change a little more often and that are a little more variable. And it's good to scan a little more frequently. And specifically, we're looking at table configurations and script configurations. The 65 checks will check for ACLs on tables and permissions and things that could be highly dynamic, and it's good to keep an eye on. You can schedule or run scans on demand. You can also create your own security scan and your own security checks. So you can adopt and use this functionality, the scanner tool, to comply with internal or external audits, or if you want to even create your own suite for specific regulations that you might need to follow, and you want to make sure you can scan environment for. The third tool is the security metrics tool. And this answers the question, how do I know what to monitor when it comes to security trends and security events? Again, ServiceNow provides recommendations and best practices. We include 56 security event analytics across many different areas, including privileged users, authentication, export of data, and even sensitive data, antivirus, email, active session, and more. And again, I will demo this in just a couple of minutes. We also allow you to set thresholds. This is very important because as opposed to having to keep an eye on them constantly, you can put in the system what you consider to be a threshold at which point you want the system to email you and notify you that you need to go and look at a specific metric, one of its 56, one or more, and then do some analysis. You can also create your dashboards, which is a way for you to organize which of its 56 you want to organize in a group and be able to see and look and watch all at the same time in a single view very easily. The fourth tool is the security learning page. And this, of course, answers the question of how do I learn security best practices? In the security learning pages, we have included all the links to all the sources, security and compliance that an admin would want to use. And we organize them in topics, so it's easy for them to find, but also easy for them to progressively learn. So we provide foundational guides, which we feel all the admins should be very familiar with. We provide security in-depth guides that admins over time should learn if it applies to them, things like encryptions and safe coding practices. We also provide links to internal product documentation, as well as portals that provide more information. Let me switch to the demo.
Let's start the demo. The first thing I want to show you is how to install ServiceNow Security Center, SSC, on your instance. SSC is released as a store app on a quarterly basis. You navigate to our store, store.servicenow.com, click the name of the application, click on the widget, the installation page will appear. On May 4th, the request install button will be activated. You click on the button, you type the name of your instance, and as long as it's compatible with Utah, that's all you need to do. Shortly, the application will be installed, and you can start using it. Let's navigate to the application. The first page you would see is the home page. The home page includes the navigation to the 4 different tools: hardening, scanner, metrics, and learning. It also shows you the current hardening compliance score. We discussed earlier how this is a critical aspect of your security posture. We provide 175 recommendations for your highly security system property and plugin, relevant system property and plugins. But we ship most of those by default as compliant. In fact, the score that you will see first installation for a vanilla implementation will be 86%. But we leave a number of settings up to the customer to decide whether they want to turn them on or not. And that's because depending on your own security policies, your own applications, environment, and other factors, you need to make a decision whether that is something that is important to you or not. But we make it easy for you to go through that process. In fact, we show the top non-compliant hardening settings right on this page. We rank them based on criticality. The most critical is at the top. Also, the most critical has the highest impact to improve the score. Typically, you will click on the first one, evaluate that, and move to the second one, and so on. So if you click on account recovery, you will see the hardening settings details page. This page has all the details that you need to make a decision. Provides the score impact, the priority. If they had a functional impact, that will show there. It will also show the details of the functional impact. It gives you a description of what that configuration, recommended configuration looks like. In this case, we recommend fly.sso.acr.enable to be true to enable the account recovery. If you click on the documentation link, it will give you the details on this setting, but also about the whole account recovery functionality and why this needs to be set to true to enable that and what you can and can't do with it. If you chose to go ahead and comply with it, all you would have to do is to toggle this toggle to the right and then click update. You can include some notes for audit purposes or for letting admin know and record why you chose to make it compliant or you chose not to make it compliant. You will go back to the home page, click on update score, and the score will be increased by 0.85%. And then you move to the second one and so on. There's another way that you can use the hardening tool to improve your hardening score. And that by using the hardening score comparison. This is a tool that allows you to compare any two score on any two dates and tell you what changed. In this case, I'm showing the difference between April 27 and April 30th. And the score decreased by 1%. It's a single setting. It was critical and it was authentication related. It was account recovery, which we already covered for sake of the demo. You will click on it. Again, you would evaluate and you would choose why this was important. You would choose whether you want to make it compliant again and increase your score and increase your security. You can also see that the trend of your score over time. All of visualization leverage the analytics hub capabilities or performance analytics. That is the standard analytical capabilities in the core platform available to all our customers. It has a lot of interesting analytics and visualization capabilities, allows you to change a chart, do some forecasting, do some statistics. You can change the time frame, the frequency of the data. You can set some targets. You can set a threshold, and I'll discuss this a little more details in a couple of minutes. It provides all the events. You can export them. You can filter them. You can manipulate them, and better understanding why your score changed over time. Let's talk about the second tool, the scanner. The scanner gives you the ability to scan your environment for security configurations for tables and scripts. While the hardening is focused on system properties and plugins, the scanner complements it by looking at some of the security configuration that are a little more dynamic. And specifically, we include one set of checks called the auditor suite. So checks are collected in or grouped into suites. Auditor is the out-of-the-box suite that ServiceNow provide with our recommendations. There are 65 checks or configurations that we recommend you look out for, and includes things such as looking for users with elevated access, users with cross-domain visibility, unintentional cross-scope privileges, table that are accessible from all internal users or all external users. Critically, that would be a problem. When you run in a suite like Auditor, and you can choose to run it manually or on a schedule. Again, you can choose weekly, monthly, every 2 months. It will create findings, which means every time a check failed, it will show you a finding for it. In this case, I just ran the Auditor suite. I found 131 potential insecure table or script configurations. Each one of these findings will tell you the check, the priority, the table. The same check could run over multiple tables, which table actually failed. Resolution details give you details on how to resolve the issue. Documentation provides more information. Just like with a compliance score, we also provide a comparison of a scanner. In this case, I'm showing the differences between April 24th and May 1st. I ran the same suite Auditor, 51 checks, but there was one incremental finding that was not uncommon between the two different results. It's high, it's affected global scope, it's in the access control domain, and it's listed right underneath. And that is, it's an access control on tables. Basically, between April 24th and May 1st, I either added a table, a custom table, for example, for the nav, that didn't exist before, or I changed a configuration on an existing table and remove access controls on it. Very important to know. Let's talk about the third tool, security metrics. Security metrics provide out of the box 66 security events that we keep track of and visualize as a trend over time, so you can identify potential risky behavior or attacks. We provide information about privileged users, including inactive, locked out, when we fail to log in, when we have not logged in for a while. We provide information about authentication. For example, keep track of your MFA program over time, how many users are enrolled, who's bypassing it, who's locked out. We show you information about experts, both for overall expert of records outside of your environment, as well as classified experts. Look at antivirus type of information, such as quarantine files, session management, etc. Lots of different information. But we give you also the ability to create your own dashboard. This is a standard ServiceNow dashboard. It's called My Security Metrics. And this gives you the ability to just include a widget for the metrics that you're most interested in. You can edit it, you can create multiple tabs, and you can have a quick glance at things that are most important to you. In this case, just for demo purposes, I picked some metrics to depict a couple of different ways that you can use these capabilities for. One of them is to measure your security functionality adoptions and program, for example, MFA. So in this case, you'll see that the number of users that enroll MFA is increasing over time, but it's not quite reaching your target. If I were to click on that widget and go to the details, I get to, again, a visualization, standard visualization, lots of capabilities for analysis. But you will see very quickly that, yeah, while I'm increasing the number of adopted users, I'm not quite meeting my target. My target is set at 500. Another way to use the metrics is to look for potential insecure behaviors. One of them is classified exports. The classified export allows you to choose which classification. We have a classification system that is customizable. So you can assign to different tables or fields a classification. This is super secure. This is absolutely secret. And you can choose which of those labels you want to include in this report. And then it will monitor over time how many records are exported on that day. In this case, you can see that there was a spike very recently. In fact, it occurred over the weekend. The typically classified exports are very low or none. On Sunday, they actually 200 records were exported, which definitely calls for concern and investigation. Another way to use the information, or similar way, is to look at privileged users fail logins. Typically, if you have a abnormal number of failed login, especially for the privileged user, is one of a number of potential security concerns might occur. One is brute force attack, people are trying to get in. As they enter different password, the system fails. It could be signs of potential compromise of login information. But whenever you see a spike, it's another area where you probably want to look into it a little bit. You want to see if any of those fail log privileged users actually then get authenticated. And in particular, in this case, you want to see if one of those is associated with that spike in classified exported records, which would be clearly very concerning. Back to kind of the capabilities, I want to point out the ability to set threshold is very important. So for each one of these security metrics, you have the ability to say, set a threshold, which is a number above or below, of which you want to be notified. In this case, I set a threshold pretty low. And if this was a real life environment, on Sunday, when the number of failed logins exceeded a threshold, and I would have received an email, I would have immediately known to go look for more details. Let's not talk about the last tool, the security learning. Security learning it's simple, but yet very powerful. It is a collection of all the security and compliance resources that you would ever want to find. And it's organized in a manner to help you find information, but also learn more about best practices over time. We provide at the top release notes for both the family as well as for the app. We provide the foundational guides. These are the guides that we believe every admin should be very familiar with, such as best practices, the data ebook, the cloud security FAQ. Then we provide security in depth. This is an area that most admins should also be familiar with. Your access controls, your encryptions, spam, if you do your own custom application, secure coding guides. We also provide specific guidance for regional and industries, such as GDPR. That's a very common and interesting resource. And then on the right side, we provide links to additional sources of information, such as product documentation for Security Center, ServiceNow Vault, which is a bundle of highly integrated and secure advanced functionality, platform security, and also portals. For example, you can have, finding quick access to our Cloud Security Trust and Compliance Center that then provides additional resources about privacy, penetration testing, application security, and more. Very, very important to have all these resources and use them to improve and understand better what ServiceNow provide some of the best practices built on our large security team and industry best practices as well. And this concludes the demo.
Let me switch back
Awesome.
to the presentation mode for the slides. Just 1 second.
Sure. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much for the demo, Stefano. It's really wonderful. And I see there's a lot of question coming up regarding to the old version of Instant Security Center versus the new built Security Center, and some of the transitions, some hardening score related. So I think you already answered some of those as well. So if you all have any other questions regarding to the new product, feel free to type your question there, and then we're happy to answer.
Yeah, and there's only a couple of slides, and then we on purpose we left a lot of time for Q&A. We understand that it's a new product and it's going to be probably a fair amount of questions, and we'll be happy to answer as many as we can live. One notion I want to make sure you understand is the ServiceNow Security Center is a new product. It's a version 1. We have a rich roadmap ahead of it. We're going to release new functionality on a quarterly basis. We're going to add tools. We're going to improve and increase the content in the application, and there's a lot more to come. So stay tuned. Please start using it. Not only is immediately valuable, but it will also expand and provide much more value over time. And again, on a quarterly basis, on a pretty rapid pace. So let me just close. Key takeaways. Security Center was designed from the ground up to help admins do their security and compliance jobs. It is very intuitive, it's easy to use, and it embeds ServiceNow security best practices. The 175 hardening configuration recommendations, the 65 auditor checks, the 56 metrics, the number of guides that we provide and recommend for instructional purposes. And it's free, and it's available in the ServiceNow App Store now, well, tomorrow. And there'll be a new version in every quarter, and it will be again deployed and installed by default with the next family release. Birgit, you want to take it from here?
Sure. All right. So if you go to the next slide, I'm just happy to talk a little bit more about some of the available resources, how you can reach out to us. We have a social media platform, which is YouTube channel, where we're going to be uploading all our the content for previously the made Academy session topics, as well as incoming ones, plus this one too. You'll feel free to scan that QR code, and you'd be directed to our the YouTube channel, where you can see all the recorded content there, as well as we have a documentation there, and you'll feel free to scan that QR code as well to understand, learn more about some of the other components that the Stefano introduced earlier regarding to the ServiceNow Vault, some of the identity and access management, as well as the security center related products there as well. At the same time, we have our community site, where you can post your questions and some of the concerns regarding to plugins, and when will that be available, whether it's the free or paid version or not. So I'm just going to add all the links here on the Zoom chat. So if you haven't scanned that, so you feel free to click that, you'd be directed to that page as well. So the next slide. And I'm sure you all are aware that we're going to be having our the knowledge session coming up 2 weeks from now, May 15th to 19th. I sent the registration link as well, if you're interested in going in and understanding more about our not only the security products, the offerings that we offer, but also generically on all the ServiceNow platforms. So you'll feel free to register, and then it would be in Vegas as well. The last but not least, I just want to highlight some of the Platform Privacy and Security Academy sessions and incoming topics that we're going to be covering. And on June 14, we're going to be covering protect employee and customer personal information with ServiceNow data privacy, which is one of the major components of ServiceNow Vault, with all regulatory compliance like GDPR and HIPAA. And on July 12, we're going to be covering protect ServiceNow platform with the ServiceNow Vault, mostly focused on financial service operation as well as healthcare operations. In August 15, the Stefano is going to be covering more about the log analytics tool, like we call it LES, Log Expert Service, which is one of the major components of our ServiceNow Vault as well. And in September 15, we're going to be covering exploring the benefits of and the challenging of cloud identity and access management, which is another product area that we offer as well. So with that, I'm just going to jump to Q&A. I think we have pretty much a lot of questions covered while Stefano is presenting, but if you all have any other questions, feel free to type on the Zoom chat and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, there's a question in there about, can we, when this launches into the store tomorrow, will we be able to install it onto our PDIs? I assume that is yes, but I just wanted to confirm with the PM.
This is standard core platform capability. So yes, you will be able to install this on a personal development instance, which is a great way to familiarize yourself with the capabilities and functionality. And I see was another question, but I think I clicked on the wrong button. John asked, if creating a custom suite of checks is that ability to copy an existing suite and modify the copy. And the answer is yes. The way it works is any checks that we provide, and we provide those 65 auditor checks, we also have translated all the settings, the hardening settings, in checks. So 175 checks for the settings. Any other checks that you create yourself, you can associate that with any one suite. So all of those are reusable. So you can create a suite that includes all 175 checks that replicate the hardening score and then modify them and change them, exclude some, add some of your own. You can also mix and match checks from the auditor that is very focused on tables and scripts, and hardening that is focused on system properties and plugins, and add your own. So it gives you lots of flexibility to reuse any checks that we provide out of the box, as well as use multiple times in different suites, checks that you create yourself. And you're associated with suites. It's very easy to create a new suite, and then you can schedule or on demand run any of those suites as you choose. Let's see, another question. Does the Security Center work in GCC environments? And the answer is yes. It does work in GCC environments. I know that, let me see, what else? I answered earlier in the chat, and I just wanted to say live, lots of questions about the earlier version of Security Center from ServiceNow called Instance Security Center. The Instance Security Center is our legacy center. It was built a number of years ago. It's included in all our family releases. It is also an app. That legacy Security Center will go the end of sale process will start tomorrow. And by 2024, we're going to remove it completely from the environments. Starting with Vancouver, Instance Security Center, ISC, as we call it internally, will be removed from the family release. But existing customer will continue to be able to use it. So you will have both ISC and SSC in your environment. We clearly would prefer and recommend that you use the new version, not only because the capabilities and user experience have been greatly expanded and improved, but also because it is the only Security Center that embeds the latest recommendations from ServiceNow. Just to give you a quick example, in ISC, you will have the existing 95 settings recommendations. Coming tomorrow with SSC, we've expanded that to 175. And that's because we continuously monitor an environment, we continuously audit an environment, and our internal security team continually improves, well, every 6 months, improves what we call the baseline, so the customers can always have the latest and greatest recommendation from ServiceNow. Let me see for other questions.
And then there's 3 more questions, Stefano. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's 2 more right now. So I think I answered the one. So the one is, if creating a custom suite of checks, is there ability to copy an existing suite?
I answered that earlier. Yeah, so that was my first answer. And I saw flashing by questions about health scan. That's an important question. Health scan also provides a security score. And yes, the health scan score will align with ServiceNow Security Center. They're both going to reflect the exact same, what we call the instance security hardening settings, the same baseline, and it will reflect exactly the same score, not immediately, but in pretty shortly. They're going to sync back, and they're both going to represent exactly the same set of settings and the same scoring algorithm.
All right. So with that, I think we answered pretty much all the questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to type on the Zoom chat.
I'm just scanning through the question I already answered in line to see if it is something that one thing that I want to reiterate that it's important is the hardening settings compliance score, which at the highest, it's going to be 100%. Not many of our customers will have an environment and have policies to achieve a full 100%. It doesn't mean you are insecure. It means you're as secure as, whatever score that you can improve your settings and plugins, and the tools makes it very easy for you to do so. It is the right answer for you. Not having, most of our customers will fall between 86% and 100%. And again, the choice, it's up to you. There's always trade-offs with security, but you will be able to monitor your compliance. We're going to continuously provide additional recommendations over time, so you can continuously improve your security posture with this tool, and reflect in your own environment the best and latest recommendations from ServiceNow and our own security team.
Right, like that old saying that you can unplug a server from the network and from power, and it will be perfectly secure, but it won't be much use to anyone. So that sliding scale of usability and security definitely applies here with that score.
Yeah, perfect way of putting it.
Well, thank you, Stefano. Thank you, Jared. So any other question, Stefano, that you would like to highlight a little bit more, or would you like to end here?
No, the highlights is, please, tomorrow, go to the store, install it, put it on a sub-production system, get to know it. And as always, feel free to reach out to us and provide feedback, or ask questions through your normal, channels. And it's new and exciting. I think we'll deliver a lot of value, and in a very seamless and intuitive way. And again, keep an eye on it, because we're going to continue to provide more value, more tools. And it's part of our commitment, a ServiceNow commitment to your security and compliance. And we hope you'll endorse and use it and provide feedback so we can continuously improve it.
Well, thank you, Stefano, for joining in. I appreciate it for your walkthrough on All Security Center. So thank you all for joining this session, and I'd like to conclude this session here. And until next time, stay tuned. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Okay.